We've got some exciting news for all you Marvel maniacs out there.
That's right. We're inviting you to join our exclusive Marvel Movie Minute membership program.
For just $5 a month or $55 a year, you'll gain access to a world of marvelous perks that will make you feel like you've been hit with a dose of super soldier serum.
As a member, not only will you get bad puns like that, you'll also get your own private podcast feed delivering early, ad-free episodes straight to your ears faster than Thor's hammer flying back to his hand.
And members also get access to periodic bonus episodes exclusively for our most dedicated fans. Consider it your own personal Jarvis for Marvel movie content.
Plus, you'll gain entry to our exclusive Discord community, where you can chat with other Marvel fanatics just like you. It's like you're assembling your very own team of Avengers.
Most importantly, by becoming a member, you'll be directly contributing to the show you love and helping us keep Marvel Movie Minute running strong. We value your support more than all the vibranium in Wakanda.
We can't thank you enough for being part of our journey through the MCU. You're the Pepper Potts to our Tony Stark, always there by our side.
You're the arc reactor to our Iron Man suit, the Heimdall to our Thor, the horny jokes to our Deadpool.
The gamma radiation to our Bruce Banner.
Well, maybe not that one.
I'm sorry.
So what are you waiting for? Don't be like Hawkeye, always getting left out of the action.
Head over to truestory.fm/join and become a member today.
Join us, and together we'll explore the Marvel Cinematic Universe like never before.
Step up to the streets and become the hero of your own story.
Excelsior, true believers. With your support, we'll make this membership program a smash hit. Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Meet Zinnia.
You are being very polite to someone who is attempting to kill us.
Her wife, Saffron.
You know I'm wildly, madly in love with you.
And their best friend, Goldie.
Glad we didn't miss all the fun.
Swords in hand, they defend their city from the worst of humanity.
I am Lord Buxton Blue.
Equity Electric.
Herr Haig. Virgil Walcott. Vicious Suave.
Follow their adventures on the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society audio drama podcast. Available now at truestory.fm/swashbuckling.
Hey Pete, ever wonder what Steven Spielberg's favorite film is?
You know, Andy, I've heard he loves classics like Lawrence of Arabia, Meet Me in St. Louis.
Imagine chatting with him about why those films resonate with him so much.
That's exactly what we do on our podcast, Movies We Like. We've had incredible guests like actress Dee Wallace, cinematographer Eric Messerschmidt, director Steve Miner, and former Disney animators Tom and Tony Bancroft.
They share their favorite films and the impact they've had on their careers, offering fascinating insights into the craftsmanship and storytelling techniques that make these movies so special.
If you're curious about the magic behind the scenes, subscribe to Movies We Like from True Story FM on your favorite podcast app. New episodes are released on the fourth Monday of each month with early access for our members.
Join us on Movies We Like as we explore the movies we all like with the people who make them.
And Stephen, our people will call your people. Let's make this happen, puppy.
Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a weekly podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 5-minute segments and then examine them in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Wilson from the Storywell podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco and Kyle.
Yes, Rob.
You know, when I'm putting together what am I going to talk about, what is going to be the opening for every episode, and I have choices to make, and sometimes it's hard, but today I'm not making that choice.
Oh.
We're going to talk about two things.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the history of fire breathing, and we're going to talk about bikini ping pong. So let me begin.
I went with two choices so rich.
Oh,
I can see how you could make a choice.
Can I tell you? And if that's not the title for this episode, I don't know what is, right? Because I mean, come on. Hey, listen, here we go. So the history of fire breathing may date back to ancient Persia when humans first produced alcohol. That's kind of interesting. I wouldn't have thought that those two things went hand in hand, but then in retrospect, yes. This is about 550, 330 BC. Aeneas, a Roman slave, used fire breathing to convince fellow slaves to revolt against Roman authorities. He had burning material in a nutshell in his mouth and the rest is history. Fire breathing, as many people probably know, is a circus act that involves spitting a jet of flammable liquid over an open flame. It's a dangerous act that can result in severe burns and most certainly death. If you're thinking of doing this, let me quote an important sage of American history, a gentleman by the name of Gene Simmons. As some of you may know, a member of the rock band Kiss, often has included fire breathing in the band's shows. Quote, "It's pretty dangerous. If you don't blow it out and it doesn't explode the right way, it comes back at you. Right. The tip is for someone who wants to start fire breathing, don't. It's not worth it." So on that note, now that's one.
That's one.
Second, bikini ping pong. So it's a thing. And if you Google it, you'll find that there's actually a league for it. You should not do that at work, nor in the presence of your family. And on that note, wow, we got an episode today.
Yes. So things are heating up here in the Iron Man 3 from 2013, directed by Shane Black and written by Shane Black and Drew Pearce. We are in minute 86 at this point, and Tony is still in captivity. So when last we left him, he had seen Dr. Maya Hansen had been killed. Pepper has been captured and subject to extremis. She is in one of the stages as she's transforming. Rhodey is down the hall and being captivated. Things are looking bleak for our hero.
It's bad.
And that was when the call of the fates, the call of destiny, the summons from the gods happened, and his watch started beeping. And that's where we pick up here is his Dora the Explorer watch is now beeping. And one of the stuntmen goes over and grabs it, one of the thugs, I should say, played by one of the stuntmen. And Tony says, "Careful there, it's a limited edition." So picking up the watch is Mike Massa. He has 130 stunt credits on IMDb, 19 as an actor, including Westworld, which has nothing that's come up multiple times in this. His first big break was on Superboy in 1988. Do you remember the Superboy television series?
No, I do not.
It was a syndicated show, and it ran for I think 4 or 5 years. But it was one of those like originally TNG was, and the other ones that you only could get it if your particular channel bought it to show it.
Oh,
so like Hercules, the Legendary Journeys and things. It was one of those shows that they just bought and slotted into wherever they wanted to. So yeah, it was kind of a little obscure. On television, he's been on The Invisible Man, which is another great sci-fi sci-fi show. Firefly. In movies, he's been in Starship Troopers, Miss Congeniality, which is something else that has come up a couple of times here. Van Helsing, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. He will go on from this to be in Winter Soldier and Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oh.
But interestingly, this is not his only role in this thing. He is also Savin's stunt double.
Oh,
so you can recognize by the haircut, nice. Similar thing. So you can see they're of similar build as well. So this is a guy who's picking up the Dora the Explorer watch and looking through it. The other one is Tony says, "Hey, Ponytail Express." So Ponytail Express obviously is a Pony Express joke. This is Mark Kubr. He has 153 stunt credits, 69 credits as an actor. His first big break was on Cheers. Season 8, episode 9. He has been in one of these things that keep coming up. Spider-Man 3. You Don't Mess with the Zohan. He was in The Nice Guys in the future for this, and Hotel Artemis, which means that Shane Black and Drew Pearce liked him enough that they both put him in their movies later on. He has been in Firefly, National Treasure, Snakes on a Plane. He will be in Winter Soldier and Captain Marvel, but this is not the first time that we have talked about him, because this is not his first time in a Marvel movie. Nor is it his first time in an Iron Man movie.
No.
Where have we seen him before, Rob?
Take
a look at Ponytail Express and think of the sort of the build that he has.
So he's one of the soldiers in Incredible Hulk? No. Oh.
He has had a featured role where his face was the only thing on screen. He was wearing a jumpsuit, but the name on the jumpsuit was not his.
Oh, he's an Iron Man too?
Yes. He is the double for Ivan Vanko.
He's the guy who gets fried.
He's the guy who gets fried. He's the one who they set up to take the fall, so it looks like Whiplash was killed. It was the same person.
Awesome.
I know. It's like they brought him back.
It's not awesome that he gets fried, but it's awesome. Yeah.
And as a stuntman, if they keep bringing you back to keep killing you, that's great. A mark of a good stuntman. So
that's good work.
And even in the commentary, they were talking about they'd forgotten his name, but they talked about how much they liked him doing this and what a great job he did, and he does. So it's because it's always fun to have the henchman gags and stuff.
Well, and he gets a cool nickname.
He does. Ponytail Express. So Tony says, "Hey, Ponytail Express, what's the mileage count between Tennessee and Miami?" And Ponytail Express immediately answers 832 miles.
It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
Yeah, I say, and both Tony and the other unnamed thug are really impressed with this. And Tony says, very nice. And Ponytail Express is pretty proud of this. He's like, I'm good like that. And he turns to his friend who's the watch is still going on. He's like, can you stop that? And Tony says, break it, you bought it. And then the guard throws it down on the ground and smashes it. So that's a picture wrap on the Dora the Explorer wall. Let's hear it.
Man.
It was carrying the movie for a while, but it was limited edition, and now it's gone. And the guard says, I think I bought it. So Tony says, okay, that wasn't mine to give away. That belongs to my friend's sister, and that's why I'm going to kill you first.
Oh, okay.
And the guard's like, all right, what are you going to do to me? Tony says, you'll see. The guard says, you're zip tied to a bed. And Tony says, this. And he gestures with his hands, and nothing happens. He says, that. And he gestures again, and still nothing happens.
Can I tell you?
Yeah,
and that ends, and
that's the end of that scene.
We transition to the next scene.
Yeah. This is pretty funny.
Okay, the banter. I think this is where I'm going right now. The banter of this movie is the best part.
Agreed. I agree. The banter and the special effects are like the top two.
We're about to talk about.
Oh,
that.
well, yeah. But like the Iron Man stuff, like the actual suit stuff.
I mean the banter. Listen, Tony's
This
banter,
is why you hire Shane Black and you get Drew Pearce to help him. Like this is what he does. This is where he lives and breathes.
Completely top level. It's funny. It's quick. It's witty. Usually, it's very entertaining. This is incredibly entertaining.
Yeah, I love just thugs. It's always fun.
There's nothing. I me's no detail here. We're still in the weird laboratory space. He's still tied to the bed. That's it.
Yeah, they're trying to get. We come back to the Iron Patriot being hung up, and they're trying to get him out. They're using that's a bandsaw. They have a bandsaw down there. They're trying to get him. They're working on his legs. I don't know why, but to try and get him out of there. And then Killian decides to take matters into his own hands. Literally.
He's much sweatier now. Rhodey is covered in sweat.
Yeah, and still silent.
Yes.
He's not saying anything in this. So then that's when the Mandarin starts, that's when Killian, spoiler alert, starts heating up the center of the chest. And basically he's making it so it's glowing orange stuff too. And Rhodey is feeling the heat and he's saying to the suit, which is interesting that he doesn't have a Jarvis. Even after all the time that has passed with this one, he doesn't have any type of AI system that he can talk to. The War Machine armor doesn't respond or anything. It's just automatic.
After Hammer and AIM, they don't.
I guess so.
They can't do that
because there's nothing bad could happen with AI in the Marvel universe. Yeah. So Rhodey's in there saying, do not open, don't open. And then it starts beeping and it's about to open. He said, all right, let's go. And so then
really funny.
Don Cheadle,
really
funny. It's really funny. He's like, all right. And then we see that the War Machine armor does have the same technology essentially that we saw with the latter day Iron Man armors. It can open front, doesn't have to come apart like that we saw in the past. It does the full sort of caterpillar and it opens. And then he comes out with a Superman punch. Within wrestling terms, comes flying out and starts
Roman
swinging.
Reigns. He's Roman Reigns right out of the gate.
Exactly, right out of the thing, off the top turnbuckle, comes flying in and punches Savin and kicks him, and that's when Killian pulls all the extremist power into him and breathes fire onto the stairs, stopping him cold, oddly enough. What did you think of this? They were debating it in the commentary whether people would go for this or not. What do you think about it?
I could have gone. So I obviously went a specific route. I could have gone the Godzilla route on this because he pulls a Godzilla move. And in fact, he's got his hands out like he's got little arms.
Yeah.
It's a Godzilla move.
Yeah, his chest glows, his eyes glow, like it all comes up just like Godzilla.
It's so over the top. However, not outside of what you've already seen Extremis capable of, especially considering I would assume he's got the biggest control over it.
Yeah.
What makes it work is Savin's reaction.
Yeah.
Not just what Rhodey's about to say.
Yeah.
Savin looks at him like, yo, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And when did we start doing that? Like,
right.
So that's when you realize Killian is a monster, right? And I mean, as if you already didn't know.
Yeah.
But like, no, he's actually physically turning into a monster.
Yeah.
He is a man in suit. A suit of fire. Oh,
well,
boy.
He's wearing a suit. So
and
he's literally a man in suit.
That's true.
But yeah, then he breathes fire in front of Rhodey. And Rhodey, once again, this is why you hire a Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Because he can do so much with so little. Because his reaction of, you breathe fire? Okay. Like, just they talked in the commentary about like the person having to play the straight arrow. Sometimes you have to be like the whoa, slow down there, kids, kind of stuff. But the way that he does it is the energy of Rhodey is always so great.
Because it is Don Cheadle.
Because it's Don Cheadle, exactly.
It is
only
Don
because
Cheadle.
It's Don Cheadle.
No,
Yeah,
and
100%.
we know this because if you've seen the Kevin Hart interview where Kevin Hart responds with his he's 60 years old and he goes, damn. And Don Cheadle pulls a Rhodey, which means that they're the same person. It's great.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
It's great. But, unfortunately, he seems to have a glass jaw because Savin takes him out in one punch.
I mean, it's not even
why. I know it's sort of like even like a backhand. Like I know I know we're trying to sell that. It's come back to wrestling all the time. I know we're trying to sell these guys as monsters and that they're really strong, but again, like one punch and he's down. Really?
And if you slow-mo it doesn't even make sense. He literally like comes at his chest with his hand and his hand is down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden
move.
Don Cheadle just does a wicked fast 360 and drops.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look.
I don't know if maybe they had
happened.
intended to like have a fireball there or something, like a boosh, and then it would go down. But it really just looks like he gets slapped and immediately falls.
Okay, and I'm going to bring this up now because I was going to talk about it later.
Yeah,
they drop him and they just leave him there.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too, so we can talk about that now too. Yeah, why as supervillains? What possible use is Rhodey to you at this point? Like he's out, you have the suit. Rhodey is of no use to you at all. You're just going to leave him unconscious in your mansion with all of your stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
Tony's there?
So is it because they think he doesn't have the suit, so he's nothing? So they don't have to worry about it? But at the same time, how do you not kill him? Like, because,
right, or restrain him or anything.
Yeah,
I know time's ticking, but it seems weird to me that they wouldn't. I mean, it's the James Bond thing. Why wouldn't they just walk over and shoot him right there?
Yes.
Or burn him? Like,
yes. Because he comes back to bite you, as we'll find out in just a moment.
Exactly. But I thought that too. From a supervillain perspective, there's no reason why, because they're not even going to use him as leverage because they already have Pepper. So like, what use is there in keeping him alive?
Yeah, they're pretty
dastardly the rest of the thing. So I don't know. So that's where 86 comes to an end. So as 87 starts, then we have Killian is monologuing. He says, "It's a glorious day, Savin. This time tomorrow, I'll have the West's most powerful leader in one hand and the world's most feared terrorist in the other. Ooh. I'll own the war on terror, create supply and demand for you, for your brothers and sisters." So now we sort of have what his full plan is.
Yeah, that's the plan. So,
as we're going to find out, like, it's like, okay, so if he has the world's terrorist, how is he going to have the world's most powerful leader? Well, we're going to find out here in in the next couple of minutes. So we cut back to and Tony is still trying to sell this this thing.
They're coming. I'm serious. They're coming.
It's coming. You're going to happen. So Tony says, trust me, you're going to be in a puddle of blood on the ground in 5, 4, 3. And then I love he turns to the side like, come on, 2. And they both are still standing there looking at him like this. And one guard says, how did we get this shift? Tony says, all right, I'm going to give you a chance to escape. Put down your weapons. Tie yourself to those chairs. I'll let you live. In 5, 4, bang. And nothing happens. The guard says, wow, you should be gone by now. So Tony, you should have already been gone. The guard says, I am just beyond terrified. Like, once again, what these guys are doing such a great job of this. They're just completely nonplussed. They're just gonna, great, sure. So he says, here it comes. 3, 4. The guard's like, all right, shut up. And then suddenly Tony goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the arm comes flying in. The gauntlet comes flying into his right hand and forms on it. Okay.
Yeah. So, let's talk about
Let's talk about this before we get into the big action thing. Okay. So we're going to do I'm going to do some quick math. I'm not going to make you do math problems, but I am going to ask you some stuff here, Rob.
Sure.
All right. So we have established in the movie, it is 832 miles from Roseville, Tennessee to Miami, Florida. So that's what we're going to establish as our baseline. Like I'm sure you could do like in math, but that's what establishes in the movie. It has been from when the watch started beeping till this moment. It has been 2 minutes of screen time. I timed it. It's actually 1:50, but there was a couple of seconds from the last minute from our last episode that we talked about. So I'm going to just use 2 minutes as the actual number we're going to use as 2 minutes from when the watch started beeping till the piece arrives. So that's there. We have that. Okay. So the question is, this is our story problem. How fast would the armor have to travel in order to get there in 2 minutes? So that's not the question I'm going to ask you.
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't need
I
you to do
the answer. I have the answer.
Okay, you're already doing the math. Okay, so let's talk about how fast things go. So the fastest vehicle that has been created that can go an unmanned vehicle we call the NASA X-43 flew at about 7,000 miles an hour. A space shuttle, when it launches, can go about 17,500 miles an hour. Now, here's my question to you. What's the fastest speed a human has ever traveled? Do you know this? I don't need to know the number, but I'm just curious if you know any of this stuff, because you are a fan of the space program.
Oh, I am, but it was it's on a rocket, obviously.
It is on a rocket, yes. It was. I could tell you it was an Apollo.
Oh, well, it probably then. Well, I want to say it's one of the first Apollo missions before they moved to the Saturn V, because Saturn V is really big and heavy. It's the Saturn 1B. I know that. It must be one of the test flights.
Actually, it was the Apollo 10.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, it was carrying Colonel Stafford. Let's see, Commander Cernan and Commander. Is it okay?
Because they're going at that point. Apollo 10. They're going to the moon, and they're actually doing the. Yeah, so it is Saturn V.
So it reached the maximum value. Let's see, on its altitude inference on its trans-Earth return flight on the 26th of May, 1969. They were traveling at 24,816 miles an hour. That is the fastest human beings have ever traveled. So just for comparison, if these suits to fly from Roseville, Tennessee to Miami, Florida, they would have to have been traveling 24,960 miles an hour.
Okay, now they weren't.
I mean, we're talking about Mach, we're talking about sound barrier, we're talking about So hold on. So when I was doing the math on this, I just did the quick math of in 2 minutes, 120 seconds. Yes.
They'd have to travel 7 miles a second for the full 120 seconds.
Yes. Yeah, this is when you start breaking down. Like I get it's a comic movie, I get that kind of stuff, but like that little piece of armor was traveling 24,000 miles per hour.
And I'm going to rage on this later on.
Okay.
Because
first of all, it should be hot as hell.
First of all, we didn't even get into the heat.
Yes.
We kind of know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We didn't get into the heat. We didn't get into acceleration and deceleration.
Yes.
Right? So you've got all that. And I mean, that kind of power. My God, I mean, what could be the container that could contain that kind of power where it would have to like you couldn't,
because it has to have fuel. I mean, in order to the Apollo, not only do you have gravity, but it's not you have rocket fuel.
It's not like all those pieces couldn't escape like a barn door. Because that would be insane.
Well, I mean, there's acceleration. You have to take off to get up to speed.
And the way they do that is by shaking and banging on the door, dude. And trust me, we're gonna get there. My God, it makes no sense. None.
So then the gauntlet lands on Tony's right hand.
Not hot. Doesn't burn his hand. Doesn't vaporize his hand.
Forms around it, and then you can see it's got the repulsor in it. And he says, "Told you," and immediately blasts Guard One across the room. It flies across and crashes into a table. Another good stunt. Probably a rapid retractor, or maybe an air ram.
Also, while he does exactly the same 360 move that Rhodey just did, getting punched in the chest. Which that I kind of understand.
Maybe they trained together, so maybe.
I understand that, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right.
Tony uses the gauntlet the repulsor to free himself from the bed. Then the left leg shows up, and he uses it to kick Ponytail Express down the hall. And then so he's standing there with a leg and an arm, and he goes, "Where's the rest?" And that's when all of the other guys start coming in. So then we cut. Yeah, where's the rest? So we cut back to Rose Hill, Tennessee, and that's where you're talking about. The garage door is shaking as Harley looks out. So he runs over and has some sort of chemical reaction to something kind of explosive that he's made, and he throws it at the lock on his own door, and then it blows it open. And that's when you find out that's what's been happening is all pieces have been trying to get out, and they have not been able to break through this wooden barrier. Once he opens the door, then all the pieces go flying up to the air, and then Harley has that great sort of almost like space movie look of him looking up as all little pieces go flying away.
I want to say this to you. When you say the words wooden barrier, that is said in the most adaptable way you possibly can. You are taking some liberties with that. These are barn 80-year-old barn doors that haven't had a coat of paint in 75 years. If I tripped and fell through these doors would be obliterated. And it's literally locked with just a piece of chain, a padlock on a chain, which honestly, I think if you yanked at the chain, the doors would fall apart.
Yeah.
This is so, I will tell you this, seeing this again, it took me out of even the moment because it's so outrageous. And I don't understand why. There's so many other ways you could have done this. You could have had them where they were all underneath the couch or something happened and or they all got bottled up in something and he just had to run in and pull the rag and then they all go flying out. There were so many other ways to do this. The only thing that saves this scene, this is one of those moments in this movie where Brian Tyler's brilliant Iron Man 3 theme kicks in.
Yeah.
And it's the only good thing about this. and Harley, yes, Harley looks awesome. Yeah. If he was in another movie, this is where he'd be waving his lightsaber broom and he'd be like, "Let's go. We can do this."
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that because he was by himself, he didn't give a yippee or he didn't go let's get him. He didn't do any of that.
No,
it was just he just watches in awe as all these pieces go flying away.
Seriously, his
most exciting day comes to an end.
His
Christmas has arrived and now left.
Oh, yeah, no, his face and the theme is what saves all of this. That's it.
Yeah. So then I didn't do a blow by blow, but essentially at this point is Tony is flying around on one leg and one arm. There's some really great stunts in here of him like bouncing up against the wall. And apparently this was Shane Black had this thought from the very inception of when he got the gig to do Iron Man 3 of him with just pieces of the armor having to figure it out and be a superhero without having the suit on. So having to like fly around from place to place and straight up murdering dudes. Like these guys, we're not doing the Captain America hits somebody with a shield, they get knocked out. Like Tony is murdering these guys.
Oh no, people are dying. Though these guys are dying, right?
Yeah,
they're all
100%.
dying.
He is shooting people to death.
Can I give you another issue though?
Sure.
This whole sequence, all I kept thinking of is weapon of choice.
Oh.
Because, and no offense to everybody, listen, I'm not dumping on this for no reason, right?
You can tell by the tone of your voice.
The wire work. It looks, and if what am I saying? Weapon of choice. It's the famous Christopher Walken.
That's why I was doing a lyric from that.
Right?
Yeah. The Spike Jones directed video. If you've not seen it, go to YouTube right now and watch it. They just did a full HD remaster thing of it too.
It's gorgeous, and it's so gorgeous, and everything is amazing. It's weapon of choice. It looks exactly.
Fat Boy Slim, weapon of choice.
But it's the way he's twirling on the wires, and I'm assuming this is all wire work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, see,
it doesn't have physics. It doesn't have proper physics.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean,
we've left
takes
the
you
realm
out of it, though.
Proper physics.
Well, no, but I mean, like, here's the thing, though, and now I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
This scene, this is one of those sequences where I am sure somebody sat around a table and said, "We're gonna one up the racetrack suit up sequence from Iron Man 2," and this doesn't. It does not do that. And I think that's amazing. I think that's a missed opportunity.
Oh, see, I have a different opinion. I really enjoyed it. I really like seeing Tony having to do stuff without having all the full armor as it too. Like I like seeing him at a disadvantage and using his smarts and stuff to propel himself around the room with just a limited amount and still be able to take these guys out.
So you like the murdering? I get it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of murder. That has long been established.
No, I mean it's entertaining. I wish it were different. That's all.
So he flies around the room, bounces around, takes out using their weapons and straight up kills these dudes. And then he swings around as another guard comes running in. And the guard immediately surrenders. And he says, "Honestly, I hate working here. They are so weird." And he sets down the gun and then he steps out, which is also a great end to that. So the reluctant AIM guard is Eric Orem, or Sifu Orem, because he is Robert Downey Jr.'s personal trainer. He has trained him in Wing Chun Kung Fu since 2003. So he has been hired as the, special fitness coordinator or whatever title they came up with him on all of Robert Downey Jr.'s from his time and as Sherlock Holmes, and then all through his MCU time. So he is still out there. He's has his own dojo in Southern California.
By the way,
so this was a nice little cameo for him.
Well, nice cameo, great line, very funny, funny pausing moment in what is in the midst of a massive action sequence.
Yeah.
Once again, the banter is the best part.
That's right. And then now we have the actual suit up sequence as the other pieces now have started arriving. And it is, I did time it. It is 2 minutes from when Harley breaks the lock until they get there. So they did honor that in terms of it's 2 minutes later that they did arrive. So they're also traveling at 24,000 miles.
All the way. Also, okay, and I wonder if this is intentional outside of it just being a cool set piece of this. In this action sequence, again, Christmas time, how do you make it snow in Miami? You blow up a mattress. Because there are the little mattress innards, I'm assuming that's what that is, floating all around in the sequence. And I actually do think that's funny because he's constantly in these snowy.
That's right, because it is Christmas
landscapes.
Eve. Right. I mean, that's this is how he's spending Christmas Eve in Miami. So then all the pieces start going, and then as he's walking down the hallway, then all the pieces are starting to form on, and then we get by the end of the time he gets there, he's in that I'd say like 90% suit up. There's a couple pieces that are still missing, and then as he comes outside, he says, The other piece comes sliding in, and he goes, "Not this time, not the face." And he grabs the face plate before it can land on him, and then manually puts it on. And then we see the internal suit power up thing, and he says, "Who's going to be back? Hello, by the way." And Jarvis says, "Oh, hello, sir."
Can I make another comment about?
Sure.
So here's a. And I don't know, intentional this. When he is standing in sort of like this hallway it's open, so he's between these two columns. Mm-hmm. The columns and the mustard suit literally are the same color. and I know I've said this before, and I'm sorry. I know I'm probably being a little negative. Man, I wish the suit were just more red.
Yeah.
I still think that is such, especially in this moment right here, such a weird decision.
Yeah. And they immediately pivot away from it. I mean, like, this is the last time we're ever going to see the suits. I mean, even the suits we're going to see later on in the movie, nothing is quite as yellow as the Mark 40. So as he steps outside, then he's fully armored and tries to fly and can't. Turns out that the system, taking all these little pieces and flying 24,000 miles an hour drained their power, so they do not have enough power for him to actually fly at this point. They talked a little in the commentary about how, and they sort of hand wave away a lot of the stuff about how the suit is powered, but the idea is that the arc reactor sort of powers the main suit, but like all the pieces have their own individuals, which is why you can charge them up with batteries, because they all have the individual batteries in them that need to be charged up. That's why we saw them hooked to the car battery. We're good to see them hooked to the car battery again. Those are the pieces. So but even when they're talking about it, they're still like movie magic. It's like,
I'm so glad you said this though, because I was about to say that later on. But okay,
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so then we see then Rhodey wakes up once again. They've all left and just left Rhodey laying there.
We've seen him see the Iron Patriot. The suit though has now flown.
Oh yeah,
off.
that's right. That's right. That's right. The order of that thing. So yeah, the suit goes flying off, and he sees it in this thing that it's the Iron Patriot armor, and then Rhodey wakes up and says, "All personnel, Stark is loose and somewhere in the compound." Repeat, Stark is loose and somewhere in the compound. You know who else is loose in the compound? Rhodey. How come he didn't get an announcement? Huh? How come the Iron Patriot, the War Machine, doesn't get an announcement on there? What's that about?
Because they gave up. He had no suit. Don't care.
Right. One punch.
And the way that he flopped, they thought he was dead. So they're just like, whatever.
Then the boys start communicating, and so Rhodey has gotten a phone, I guess, and then called.
Well, he beat a guy up. He attacked a guy off the ledge, and I think he took his phone.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So he calls and says, "Tony," and Tony says, "Rhodey, tell me that was you in the suit." And Rhodey says, "No, you got yours." And so that as minute 90 starts. Then Tony says, "Kind of. Main house as fast as you can. There's somebody I'd like you to meet." And then so they go out, and so then we have a little bit of like Rhodey action. Sort of like, well, we got Don Sheila here, we got stuntmen, so like just like a big jump off of a thing onto a guy and punches it. And I was like, yeah, okay, like
that's much better than the awkward Tony in the Iron Man suit awkwardly coming down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, man. Like even like it has 10 years plus. Like I was like, oof. Like I know they're trying to do for the funny comedy beat of it, but like that was rough.
Wait. So what? Oh wow, I want to talk about this then.
Yeah.
Was that because they're trying to show you that the suit is not fully powered?
Yeah, I think it was like the comedy thing of like Iron Man having to like walk downstairs, which we haven't really seen in a lot of movies before. It's like the guy in armor suit, ting 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 ting. Like the almost like the Tin Man. I thought that was supposed to be a comedy bit. I was like, ooh, that doesn't. I thought it looked a little dodgy.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
This is the sort of the downside of when the full CGI characters were a little bit. Now we sometimes get a little of that, and I thought like that beat doesn't hold up. Apparently, there's a cut scene of him like being chased by a dog. So I'm glad we don't need any more of like showing the limitations that he. Then we cut to them going into house, and it seems like some time has passed here. Like this seems like there's a little bit of like some briefs we didn't get to see, because as we go in, then they even the commentary, they say the most unnecessary jump through a window. Like Rhodey does this full action movie like Matrixy like jump through the window thing.
Wait, hold on, you've missed a few things.
Okay.
Bikini ping pong.
Oh, bikini ping pong. Okay, so as the guys are the troops are coming in, they're being so this is Naomi Grace, Arella Riley, and Joanna Yunda. These are their only credits, and they don't have pictures in IMDb, so I don't know who, but those are the three women who are playing ping pong in bikinis, and then are immediately told to leave.
So we see, so the first shot is this transition back into the building. We see the Mandarin. He's falling asleep with a can of beer in his hand.
Yep.
Then we've got them playing bikini ping pong, and then a whole bunch of guys come in to say, "Okay, get out of here." Yeah. So that's when Tony comes rolling into the room
carrying a battery. So he's got a car battery, and it's hooked up to the suit, charging it up,
and it's like hooked up to his chest. I'm just gonna say that.
Positive and negative terminals. They gotta be somewhere.
Yeah, those hurt. Ouch. And then that's when Rhodey, which I mean, it is funny, just blows through the patio door like for no reason whatsoever.
And then as he comes in, Tony's like, "What's this? I had winners." Like as if like
they broke up the game.
He was supposed to play next in bikini ping pong.
Oh, I get what he meant. Okay,
when whoever won, he was going to play the winner, and he gets annoyed that and that's when Rhodey jumps in and starts firing and stuff too,
and immediately kills a guy.
Yes, yeah. Once again, murder. But they're thugs. So
these are bad guys. They're bad guys.
Okay, so that's and the gunshots wake Trevor up, who immediately then is reclining in the chair, starts drinking
his beer. Of course,
like he's wake. What time to wake and drink?
Are we on? Are we? Are
we filming? Was that action? Did someone call action? And then he says to sees Tony in the armor for the first time and says, "What did you come as?" In terms of like this is his costume.
It's great.
And this is great because Rhodey is behind all this kind of stuff. So now he sees the Mandarin and like springs into like action movie guy and like kicks the chair back and then points his gun in his face and says, "You make a move, I break your face." And then the Mandarin immediately switches to, "I never thought people had been hurt. They lied to me." And Rhodey goes, "This is the Mandarin?"
Yeah, it's pretty great because this is now
Cheadle.
Well, and plus this is his. Like, think about it. This is his first thing. Just like we went through this with Tony.
He's been flying around the world looking for this guy.
Saw everything saw the same things everyone else saw. And the moment here's what you got to love about this is think about he's in a recliner drinking beer, and as soon as you hear his unacted voice, Rhodey's got to be like, "Oh God, what has happened here?"
like this whole movie, Rhodey perpetually behind the times on all this stuff. Like it's pretty rough. They keep referring to the movie as in the commentary as a buddy cop movie, and I'm like, they're barely together. Like like Rhodey and Tony, like that. It's the Rhodey and Tony as a buddy cop movie have been great. They're never together.
Wait, it's right here. This is the buddy cop movie. This exchange.
This and then like in the next couple of scenes. But
yes.
It's like we had to get 90 minutes before we get the two of them to just hang out. But from the the diner to now, that's the only time they've been together. Every time they've just been on the phone.
Yeah.
And Tony says, in full suit, carrying the battery, says, "Yeah, I know, it's embarrassing." Trevor says, "Great. Hi, Trevor Slattery. I know I'm shorter in person, a bit smaller. Everyone says that, but hey, if you're here to arrest me, there's some people I'd like to roll on immediately." I love immediately. No loyalty. No, he's like I will name names. I will name them right now. I will give you dates. I will give you everything. I love it. So Tony says, "Here's how it works, Meryl Streep."
That's funny.
And Rhodey says, "You tell him where Pepper is, and he'll stop doing it." And Trevor says, "Doing what?" And that's when Rhodey takes the gun that he had just fired and puts it to Trevor's ear and burns him because obviously it's still hot from the bullets that had come out. He says, "Ow, I get it. That hurt. I get it. Don't know about any pepper, but I know about the plan. And Tony says, spill. And he says, and then Rhodey says, do you know what they did to my suit? I don't know if Trevor's reaction is, what? No. Like he has no idea. And it's like, why would I know that? And that is where minute 90 comes to an end. And that is the end of our time. So,
would it have been funny? Would it have been funnier had instead of Tony saying, here's how it works, Meryl Streep, he goes, here's how it works, Gwyneth.
We don't know that Gwyneth Paltrow exists in this.
But I think it would have been funny. Like, listen, if we're going to do this rapid fire banter, I think that would have been funny because they immediately go on to the next thing. So it would have been just funny to put it in there.
Yeah.
I also, I think it is kind of interesting that he uses the gun barrel, the heated gun barrel, when we were just talking about heat not mattering in certain things.
Yeah.
But but the gun barrel, wicked hot. Yes. It'll burn your ear.
Yeah.
I love it, but
but the boys are back together.
Yay.
I know. And so it becomes a buddy cop movie from here on out.
I just want to say, I'm looking at my overall notes, and my overall notes for this episode were funny, more fun. I'm so conflicted. The logistics are dumb. The wire work is horrible. Harley and the music is awesome. Fun. I hate this suit. How did Rhodey escape? Is he charging the suit? Banter is great. The rest. That's my notes.
We differ on the pieces of armor fighting in there too. But
no,
the rest
you're right. But weapon of choice. Weapon of choice.
And who knows? That might have been an influence. Like I think that was earlier on.
Maybe.
But in between your searching for a weapon of choice and pulling out your old Fat Boy Slim CDs, I'm sure you can find it for a discount. What else is a great price? Is becoming a member of TrueStory.fm, TrueStory.fm/join for $5 a month. You can get access to early episodes and bonus stuff. We're actually planning some extra bonus content for our lovely members. So those will be coming out exclusive to them. You will only be able to find them if you're a member. So we'd be happy to have you $55 a year. If you'd rather do that, maybe perhaps you got a tax return that you'd like to send a little bit our way to help keep these pipes moving. We appreciate it. Be back for our next bit as Rhodey gets to hang out with Trevor for the very first time, and then maybe some little Miami Vice action will be happening. So we'll be here. Don't miss it. Enough said.
Bye.